Marie Keller was the kind of woman who made everyone feel safe. A 54-year-old nurse in Red Lake, Oregon, she was known for a calm voice, a warm smile, and a deep dedication to the patients who depended on her. Marie never missed a shift. She was the type to call if she was 5 minutes late. But on the morning of May 4, 2019, Marie didn't show up for work. She didn't call in, didn't answer her phone. A coworker who'd known her for 15 years got a bad feeling right away and called the police to check on her. 2 officers arrived at Marie's small apartment building around noon. Her car was still parked outside, exactly where she always left it. Her mailbox was jammed with a few envelopes. The neighbors hadn't seen her in days, and that, they said, was unusual. Marie kept a strict routine. When police knocked on her door, there was no answer. They pushed gently. It was unlocked. Inside, a wave of coppery air rushed out, the unmistakable scent of blood. Marie was lying face down by her couch. Blood had pooled and dried around her, dark as old wine. There were no signs of forced entry, no smashed furniture, no broken glass. It was quiet. Almost too quiet. Marie Keller was gone. Detectives were called in to secure the scene. Crime scene tape went up around the tidy complex, blocking the view of worried neighbors. In the living room, 2 wine glasses sat on the coffee table. One of them was half full, the other was spotless, wiped clean of fingerprints. It was a subtle detail, but a chilling one. Marie had let her killer inside. Her phone was missing, but its charger was still plugged in. Her laptop too was open but locked. As investigators studied the room, they found one more clue, a faint lipstick mark on a paper napkin, next to a second glass. Marie had company that night. Detective Karen Brooks took the lead. She began questioning the neighbors one by one. One neighbor remembered seeing Marie 2 nights before, carrying groceries and smiling. She'd mentioned having a friend over. But no one saw that friend arrive. No one heard a struggle. No one saw anyone leave. Security cameras at the building's lobby showed a hooded man buzzed in from Marie's apartment around 9 that night. He carried a small gift bag, something you might bring for a date. But his face was hidden under a dark sweatshirt, and he kept his head down as if he knew exactly where the cameras were. That was the last time anyone saw Marie alive. Detectives dug deeper. They traced Marie's phone records, trying to find out who she'd spoken to. One number stuck out, a string of calls from a prepaid phone bought 3 days earlier. Burners like that were made for one reason, to stay anonymous. The call logs showed late-night messages, deleted texts, a sense of secrecy that didn't match Marie's usually open, easygoing life. It made no sense. Detectives managed to recover fragments of one text. "Can we talk? I just want you to hear me out." Whoever sent that was desperate, maybe even angry. Then came a break. While searching Marie's bedroom, an evidence tech lifted up the mattress to look for hidden valuables. Instead, they found a folded piece of paper, almost crushed flat. In Marie's handwriting it said, "If anything happens to me, look for Eric." Eric? There was no Eric listed in her phone. No Eric in her emergency contacts. Detective Brooks began searching through Marie's older records. In a stack of court papers from 4 years earlier, she found it, a restraining order against a man named Eric Newman. Marie had tried to keep him out of her life. Eric Newman, 45 years old. A construction worker with a history of domestic violence and a weapons charge. Last known address, Idaho. Detectives put out an alert for him, but Eric had disappeared. No job, no credit cards, nothing since last fall. The case felt stuck. Then another lead. At a bus station 60 miles away, security footage showed a man matching Eric's description boarding a Greyhound the morning after Marie was found dead. He paid cash. No name, no ID. That bus could have taken him anywhere. The coroner's report arrived soon after. It showed Marie had a strong sedative in her blood, enough to make her collapse before she ever saw the knife coming. This wasn't a frenzied attack. This was planned. Precise. The killer had come to that apartment to make sure Marie couldn't fight back. Detectives circled back to Marie's financial records. 2 days before she was killed, she withdrew $5,000 cash. There was no sign of the money in her apartment. Had Marie been paying someone off? Or had someone forced her to drain her account before ending her life? Detective Brooks refused to give up. She pulled up Marie's last debit card transactions. One card, missing since her death, pinged in a gas station hundreds of miles away. Detectives requested the security footage, and froze. The person using Marie's debit card was not Eric Newman. It was someone else entirely. Someone Marie had trusted all along. Marie Keller dedicated her life to healing others. She offered people comfort, hope, and dignity, But in her final hours, no one was there to protect her. Behind her locked door, a predator found a way in. And what the detectives would discover about that missing bank card, about Eric's true connection to Marie, and about the killer's real motive, would shock the entire town of Red Lake. When detectives traced Marie Keller's missing debit card to a gas station hundreds of miles away, they thought they'd finally cornered Eric Newman, the ex-boyfriend with a history of violence. But the person on the surveillance footage wasn't Eric. It was someone they never expected. Marie's own son, Jason Keller. Jason was 27, a part-time mechanic who lived about 80 miles from his mother's apartment. At first, he was never even considered a suspect. He told police he'd barely spoken to his mother in weeks. They believed him. But there he was on camera, calm and stone-faced, using Marie's card to fill up his car. Detective Brooks felt her stomach twist. She remembered the night they found Marie's body, how Jason had stood quietly outside the police tape, asking what happened, tears on his cheeks. He'd seemed heartbroken. But now, those tears looked like an act. Detectives moved fast. They tracked Jason down to a friend's apartment in Portland and brought him in. In the sterile gray walls of the interview room, Jason's hands trembled as Detective Brooks showed him the security footage. He didn't even try to deny it. "Yes," he whispered, voice cracking. "That's me." But what came next made the detective's pulse spike. "I didn't kill her," Jason said. "I swear I didn't kill my mom." Detective Brooks leaned forward. "Then why were you using her card?" Jason shook his head, swallowing hard. "He gave it to me." "Who?" "Eric." Jason told detectives that Eric, his mother's ex, had come to him weeks earlier. Said Marie owed him money. That she cheated him out of thousands and he wanted it back. Jason claimed Eric pressured him, threatened him, told him if he didn't help, he'd end up like his mom. Jason said he'd been terrified that Eric showed up in Red Lake on May 2nd, and made him take Marie's bank card after she was already dead. Detective Brooks tried to read Jason's eyes, hunting for truth, but they were wild, glassy, desperate. Was he lying? Or had he been manipulated by a ruthless killer? They kept pressing. "Where is Eric now?" Jason shook his head again. "I don't know. He left after that night. I swear I don't know where he went." But there was more. When detectives searched Jason's phone, they found messages to Eric in the days leading up to Marie's murder. Those messages didn't sound like a scared victim. They sounded like they were planning. One text read, "She'll let me in if I say it's about the car." Detectives felt the bottom drop out. This wasn't a terrified son. This was an accomplice. Over hours of interrogation, Jason finally broke. Tears streamed down his face as he described what really happened. He and Eric had hatched the plan together. Marie had a small life insurance policy, enough to pay off Jason's debts. Jason owed thousands in back rent, student loans, credit cards. Eric, a controlling ex with a grudge, convinced him that Marie deserved it. That she was selfish for refusing to help Jason pay off his debts. That no one would miss her. They planned to make it look like a break-in, but Marie let Jason in that night. She trusted him completely. Even helped pour the wine. Jason's hands shook as he described the moment Eric slipped the sedative into Marie's glass. When she started to slump, Jason tried to leave. He couldn't watch. Eric had no such hesitation. He slit Marie's throat while she was too weak to scream. Jason claimed he stood outside, hands over his ears, while his mother died a few feet away. Then together they cleaned up, wiped prints and staged the room. Eric took Marie's phone. Jason took her bank card. And they left. That was the truth Jason finally confessed, or at least the version he was willing to give. Detective Brooks felt her heart sink. Marie had opened the door to her son. The person she loved most in the world. And that love had been her undoing. A manhunt went out for Eric Newman. State lines, border alerts, every bus station, every train, police watched them all. But Eric had vanished like a ghost. Marie's funeral came and went, a quiet service with a few co-workers and neighbors. There was no family left to mourn her. Jason was behind bars awaiting trial. Detective Brooks visited Marie's grave afterward. She placed a single white rose on the headstone. She thought of the night they found Marie's body. How peaceful her face looked at first glance, as if she'd only been sleeping. How in the end it wasn't rage or a stranger that took her life, but her own flesh and blood. It took 3 more months before Eric was finally caught, 800 miles away in Nevada, working under a fake name. He was arrested without a fight, as if he knew the story was over. In court, Jason took a plea for second-degree murder. Eric was tried for first degree. The prosecutors laid out every text, every lie, every cruel step in their plan. The jury took less than 2 hours to convict them both. Jason Keller was sentenced to 30 years. Eric Newman will never leave prison again. Marie Keller gave everything to her patients. She opened her heart, she opened her door, she gave her son every chance. But in the end, the person she trusted most was the one who let the wolf inside. In Red Lake, her name is still spoken in the hallways of the hospital where she worked, a quiet tribute to the kindness she carried until the very end. Sometimes, the greatest danger doesn't come from a stranger breaking in through your window. It comes from someone you've already let through the front door. But one question still lingers. Eric has never confessed what he did with Marie's phone, and investigators suspect he may have used it to contact other victims before she died. Could Marie's murder be only part of a larger pattern? That's a question still unanswered.